Thanks for joining us for another edible education lesson. I'm Haley from Comfort Food Community, and today I'm going to be sharing a recipe for sweet potato fries. So sweet potatoes are a wonderful ingredient to cook with. You can use them for all different kinds of recipes. You can roast them, you can mash them, and like today, we'll be making fries. So we're going to use our oven and we'll bake them, and they're going to be delicious. Sweet potatoes are generally in season, October through March. You can find them any time of year, but their peak seasonality is during those months. So I love to cook sweet potatoes during the winter months because they're hearty, they're warm, and there's so much that you can do with them. So let's get started. Now, I've already given my sweet potato a little rinse in the sink, and I've wiped it down a bit. You might find that they're a little dirty, they might have some little roots sticking out, and that's okay. Just give them a little rinse and then wipe them down with a paper towel or a cloth. So after we've rinsed our sweet potato, we'll begin by using a knife to slice our potatoes into fries. Now, if you are in your kitchen and you're using a sharp knife, be sure to practice knife safety or ask an adult for help here. Sweet potatoes are rather large and they're pretty thick, so they can be a little bit challenging to cut. So using a sharper knife is definitely better for this. If you're using a knife that is dull or maybe small, you'll find that it might be a little bit hard to slice through your potato, especially at the beginning when the potato is whole. So I'm going to begin by cutting my sweet potato right down the middle. And you'll see that I'm actually working today with a purple sweet potato, and the inside is actually white. So you might recognize a traditional sweet potato, which is orange on the inside, but these are just as delicious and I personally love them. So I'm going to work now with my two smaller halves. I'm going to take this half and then I'm going to, again, cut that piece down the middle. And I'm basically just going to keep working to cut my potato into smaller pieces so then it's a bit easier to slice them into those fry shapes. And once you've cut, one fry should look like this. So I'm going to keep working here, slicing my potato, and then we'll move on. As you're working on cutting your potato, take a second and preheat your oven to 400 degrees. So you'll see that now that I've finished slicing my potato, I have these pieces that are this nice little kind of matchstick shape. From here, we'll work on seasoning our fries. You'll need salt, black pepper, garlic powder, paprika, and olive oil. I'm going to use half a teaspoon of salt. And once I have that measured out, I'm going to dump it into this bowl. I'm going to use half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, and a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. And then from here, just going to mix this around a little bit, mix up the spices, and then set that aside for a moment. So as the oven continues to preheat, I'm going to season and prepare my fries for baking. So you'll see that I have a baking sheet here, and I'm just going to use some cooking spray on my baking sheet to ensure that my fries don't stick as they begin to cook. You can also use foil or parchment paper if you don't have any cooking spray handy. So first, I'm going to take my potatoes that I've cut, and I'm going to place them on my baking sheet. I'm just lining them up, and I'm allowing a bit of space in between each piece of potato. And by doing this, this will allow the fries to crisp up nicely. So if you have your potato pieces too close together, as they cook, they'll get a little bit mushy. So leaving that room will allow them to bake and cook evenly. So I'm just going to assemble them here on my sheet. And then after I have laid out all of my potato pieces on my baking sheet, I'm going to take my olive oil and I'm just going to generously drizzle that olive oil over the fries. This will help crisp them up nice, and then it will also act as a binding agent for our seasoning. So after I've drizzled my olive oil, I'm just going to use my fingers, and I'm going to sprinkle the seasoning that we made on top of my potatoes. Now it's okay that we're just sprinkling the seasoning on one side, because after they've been in the oven for a bit, we'll use a spatula to flip them, and we'll make sure that the seasoning is evenly distributed throughout. Okay, so now that my fries are seasoned and my oven is preheated, we are ready to bake our fries. I'm using an oven mitt for the transfer of my baking sheet into the oven. So now that my fries are in the oven, I'm going to wait around 15 minutes, and then I'll check on them to see if they've started to crisp up a bit. After they've started to crisp, I'm going to use my spatula, and then I'm going to flip them, and I'll put them back in the oven for another 10 minutes. Okay, it's time to take our fries out of the oven. I waited 15 minutes, checked on them, they were looking nice and crispy. I flipped them with my spatula, gave it another 10 minutes, and now let's take them out. They're looking good. I'm gonna let them cool for about 10 minutes or so before I transfer them onto a plate. They look amazing. I'm going to enjoy my fries with a side of ketchup, but you can feel free to use any kind of condiment you want, maybe a honey mustard or a spicy mustard. You could use hot sauce, whatever it is that you prefer. So, should we give them a try? They are delicious. They are seasoned perfectly. They're just a little bit crispy on the outside. They're soft and warm on the inside. Comfort Food Community's Farm to Library program offers produce like sweet potatoes and much more at partner libraries throughout the region. So every Thursday, we deliver fresh produce from local farms to libraries, and members of those communities are welcome to come and take what they would like. For more information, I will list the participating libraries on the next slide, and all should feel welcome to stop by their local library and enjoy fresh produce. Thanks for joining me for today's edible education lesson. I hope that you'll try this simple and delicious recipe in your own kitchen. A big thank you to Emily at the Schuylerville Library for having me today. And to learn more about our programs at Comfort Food Community, you can visit our website, www.comfortfoodcommunity.org. Hope to see you soon.